we have a quick question for you guys. In mathematics, if I want to talk about line or line segment, or say ray or a right angle, how is that communicated without actually going to a point of drawing it? We use symbols, right? Something like, say, this would be a line or ray, sorry. This would be a ray. This is example of ray. This would be a line. I hope you guys remember all of this. This would be a line segment. Similarly, right, similar to this, I hope you guys remember all of this. Similar to this, we have shortcuts or symbols to represent parallel lines and perpendicular lines. Okay, and that's what we are looking at. So how we write it and draw it? First thing is parallel lines. So the symbol to represent parallel line is two straight vertical lines in this manner. If I want to write line A is parallel to line B, all I have to do is just this. To draw, that is, if you draw two lines and if I want to indicate two lines are parallel, all I have to do is I use arrow. So one arrow for the first set and the two arrows for the second set. So in this case, there are two parallel lines. For example, let's take up an example. Rails 1 and just a second. Rails R1 and R2 are parallel. So it can be something like this. So there's a rail which is running parallel. All I have to do is just draw one line, one arrow and one arrow over here. If I want to draw, I can draw three arrows. So basically whatever number of arrows I draw over here, the same number of arrows I have to draw over here to indicate that this pair of lines are parallel. Say I have one more line and a second line, but I want to indicate these two are parallel. I can just go with one arrow or two arrow. You got the idea, right? So that's how you represent parallel lines. In writing, we use this vertical lines between the naming of the line. Line A is parallel to line B. That's how we do it. Now, when it comes to perpendicular, symbol is upside down T. So basically this. That's the symbol. Okay, written as I have the space over there. So it would be something like this. To write if line P is parallel to line Q, so this is P and this is Q. We say P is not parallel, sorry, perpendicular to Q. This is how you write it as. P is perpendicular to Q. When you draw, you put a small square like over here at the corner where the line crosses. Can you see that? This is a square. And you do that and you have 90 degree. Remember 90 degree? It's the same symbol for 90 degree actually. Square means a 90 degree, which we already know. So two perpendicular lines make an angle of 90 degree and that's how you represent it. That's it. So a signal pole standing up the ground G, use a square to, okay. So basically we have a ground in this manner. And on that we have a pole. A signal pole. So we have it showing people signal. Something like this. The angle between the ground and the pole is 90 degree. That's how you can represent in diagram. In writing, it is pole is perpendicular to ground G. So this is how you can put it in writing. Okay, just a second. Right, guys. Time to practice. Write line fun is parallel to line game. Okay, so it's a combination of parallel and perpendicular. So we have a line fun is parallel to line game. So I can call this as line fun and this is game. So they are parallel. I'll indicate with say one arrow. In written form, it will be line fun is parallel to line game. Okay. Guys, I have not mentioned it, but please pause. Try doing all of the question. Line D, say a desk, meets line W, a wall. So we generally keep the desk against the wall, right? How do you show that using symbol? How do you do that? Right, so we have line D making an angle of 90 degree with the wall, line W. Third question. Draw line X and Y such that X is correct, parallel to Y. So that's X, that's Y. These two are parallel to each other. So don't forget the arrows. So we'll call this as X and this is Y. Then draw line A and B such that this is supposed to be perpendicular. Such that A is perpendicular to B. Do not forget the square at the corner. Okay, thank you for the reminder. So we have, say this is A, this is perpendicular to B. And the arrow, not the arrow, sorry, the square. And this is B. And that's that. Okay, guys. So you have to copy. That's why I'm showing all of this. You have to copy, no option.